Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. And in this video is a kind of a big deal and drama that keeps on coming out over here, especially on the PlayStation and a little bit on the Xbox networks, where basically people keep on going and making, selling, and trying their best to go and basically farm these very, very cheap games in order to get as many benefits as they possibly can for the usual audience. Now, this is a little bit of a weird drama that we've covered before, but it just doesn't seem to stop. Now, in case you guys are curious on what we fully mean before we fully dive in the video, it's essentially we have a big pandemic of games that are really, really cheap, although definitely usually not free, that are essentially just made in the most bare bone and baseline levels to essentially go and farm trophies and farm features and basically let people go and get more completions on their games themselves. And basically, this is like there's like huge market for folks that are just basically scamming and utilizing these games to go and get your essentially gamer score, trophy score up as high as you possibly can. And now it just keeps on happening more and more. And once again, we're seeing even more public outrage on it. So we're going to talk about this, talk about the issues, talk about how it's affecting the PlayStation ecosystem, and more. So make sure you guys give your thoughts and comments down below as we go talk about the video. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on too as well. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream too on top of that too, and the Target links if you guys want to check those on out. And let's dive in the video itself. So maybe around 4 or 5 months ago, it's been quite some time, we did see a really big resurgence of these really small, cheap games. Now, a good example of this is that, traditionally most games are at least let's say 20, 30, 40, maybe $70 depending on the game itself. But when it comes to PlayStation, now we've been seeing a very, very big influx of games that are usually under the price of, let's say, even $3, sometimes as cheap as even a quarter. And these are just the most baseline, basic games that are out there that are actually basically coded to go and let folks launch the game and then earn as many possible trophies as they possibly can and essentially pad up their PlayStation stats for just basically spending money. So if you have a certain game, let's say Last of Us, you have a full-on proper $70 game, although I still hate that it's $70. And then at least you have different features, maybe collectibles, maybe you have to play through certain games in a harder difficulty so it has replayability, or maybe you just have to do specific weird, strange things. Maybe there's separate options, maybe there's separate features. There's a lot of little various things that lead towards a game being a proper legitimate game with proper legitimate features that at the end of the day is a good product. And with that, if you go and say you beat the game and you spend, say, 20, 30 hours, you kind of don't necessarily earn that trophy. And then on your trophy score, if you're having your friends or bragging or you put it up on Twitter, whatever it may be, there's usually some merit behind it. But nowadays, we're seeing a lot less of that and a lot more cheaper games that are making their way into their systems. So we have the Press X for trophies. Is a game itself is basically the sad indictment for PlayStation 4 and PS5 today, which even we have Sammy Bark over here calling it embarrassing. So what this is there's literally a game called Press X for trophies. I think you guys could probably assume where this is going into, where literally you have a game where the base bone level is you just launch the game and then you go and spend the money on the game because these are usually not free, so people are profiting off this. And then as they go and, do that, you press one button and then you get a bunch of trophies. And this is kind of number one, taking away the whole merit system of the whole trophy system. Because if you can go and just spend, let's say, $30 and go and beat 30 different games that are all under $1 that are specifically meant for this, it just takes away the merit in their reasonings for folks to even have this feature in overall. It's the same thing for the Xbox. Or on the Xbox, some people do care a lot about their Xbox gamer score. If you go and beat these certain games, you get extra points. And some people just try their best to collect it. They want to have as high as possible of a gamer score. And it's the same thing for PlayStation, although with the trophies and trophy lists. And I'm sure there's quite a few big folks, especially if you've been on the PlayStation Network for a while, that does care a lot about this. And I'm in that same, I don't want to say I'm fully in that boat, but it's always something that I have looked at. I think it's cool if you get an achievement, and I don't care as much now as I'm older, but when I was younger, I always thought it was a really cool thing, and sometimes I would go after certain games and go out of my way to get certain, say, gamer score, because it was a cool system. But now that we're seeing so many of these big gamers and big game developments essentially scheming the system, and just doing this is just rough. So Sony has a big problem on its hands, and it's not clear how it's going to solve it. While previous oddities like My Name is Mayo and Mr. Masagi were fun platinum novelties, the PS Store is now getting absolutely overrun by small developers who've all conned on to the same thing. Easy trophies attached to low-effort titles actually means big profit. So as I mentioned, they're basically making games where you just get a bunch of different trophies and someone will put a list or make an article or just do it like people find it in general looking for new games, and they'll go and spend $2 on a game, and then guess what? They get other trophies. But the thing is, if it takes someone one afternoon to go and make it, and then it shows up on the new or most hot or like most recent buys, and you go and have a few thousand people who maybe care about trophies or just for the meme of it or whatever, they'll go and still make a pretty decent penny. Then you go and do that another 10 different times, you can make 6 figures off of just people buying these really random games just for like their trophy list or gamer score. We've seen an absolute avalanche of shovelware these past few months, and we kind of talked about this a few months ago too as well, many of which are asset swaps of the same exact game built around the idea of awarding a platinum in a minute or less. As you guys know, platinum is basically just, being in the game and getting all the points for it. But now developers aren't even trying to hide it, and this is where I think it kind of leads into that even bigger next level. There's basically a game called Press X for Trophies, which you guys can see over here right now with the one-player support, Press X for Trophies, and it's fully officially announced on the PlayStation Store itself. But this is on the official website. Games are often made to be challenging, well, at least they used to be. These days, things are a little easier. Press X for Trophies is a game made to help spread the word of how things should change and how the world of gaming is changing. It's slightly ironic, and the story is told through its trophy systems. So they're not even trying to hide it. Like, they're literally specifically saying these stories are literally found from the trophy systems over here. Like, this is like the whole reason for this game. It's a single-player, one-player game with even fun enough game help also on there. And you guys will just even see the baseline title of just Press X for Trophies, where you literally will probably just launch the game, press X, and get some trophies. You can even add to your wish list too as well. And it's just so sad to see. Like, it's just like, this is like, there's no passion. There is no pushing for like proper games. Like, not even like for a fun mini game. It's literally just them trying to bypass the system and make easy money. So while you can't buy the game just yet, with no release date mentioned, the product description almost makes a mockery of the platform's holders' plaza. Games are meant to be challenging, well, at least they used to be. These days, things are a little easier. Press X for Trophies is a game made to help spread the word of how things should change. So what we just basically covered up over there. And it's just disappointing, because this is not a real game, and it basically just goes and fully invalidates up the trophy system, where it's just, what's the point if someone could just go and spend 39 cents, $1, $2, $3, whatever it may be, or maybe they're just rich and they drop $500 and they do it all in one afternoon, and at that point they probably just even having like their random like friend or maid or housewife or whatever go and show up and do it, and it's just a sad, disappointing thing to see. Like, it makes me sad seeing this, and it makes me sad knowing that this is allowed on the system. And I kind of really wish that Sony themselves would change this. So it seems at least the developer has made a parody of the declining quality of the content in the PS Store, or at least that's what we're inferring from the description. Sony has removed games like this before. The infamous 1000 top rated got booted from the storefront, only to be repackaged as Slide a little later. But we're not entirely convinced the company has a case anymore when it's letting titles like Zwan Jump and The Jumping Noodles run riot. And this has been a pretty big issue too. If you look through all the games, like anything under, say, $1.99, there's just so many random games that are just basic. They're just the most basic games out there. Now we have some cool games like, say, like, Adventure Capitalist or Super Animal Royale. But there's also a lot of games out there that are just really, really basic games that are just not even like a real proper, like I said, legitimate game. And it kind of stinks because some of these games out there on the list, like such as Press X for Trophies, they add no actual gameplay, no actual vibes, and it just is a sad, sad experience too as well. And like sometimes we even have some things like this for a good example. Well, like we'll have like multiple levels for different games and just for you guys to go and farm platinums. Like, it's a pretty sad situation to see. So give me your thoughts in comments down below. Do you guys care? Do you guys not care? I think it's kind of lame, in my opinion. And as well, Just give me your thoughts and comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed, leave a like, and also the Twitter, Twitch stream, Amazon links, and Target links all down below. I just want to say I appreciate you guys all so much for watching in the first place.